Here we are. Thank you for being with us. Tonight I have a very special guest. I'm really thrilled to be chatting with her tonight, Dr. Joanne White. Thank you for being with us, Joanne.
Thank you, Paula. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm really, really excited, and I'm sure this interview is going to be really exciting and especially inspiring. Joanne is an award-winning international author, and she's the executive producer and host of Power Your Life radio and television shows. She's a certified professional coach, a business consultant, an energy master teacher, and she specializes in innovation, transformation, energy, medicine. She has over 20-year experience in education, business, leadership, energy medicine, and she's also the owner and founder of the Power Your Life Broadcasting Network and the Power You Online University. We'll be speaking about this towards the end of our conversation. She's been featured online and in publications such as Good Housekeeping, More, and WebMD. She's also appeared on radio and television networks such as NBC, CBS, and Fox. She's a keynote speaker, a corporate speaker. Her seminars uplift, inspire, and motivate and transform. I can swear it's true. I heard Joanne speak, and I was really, really inspired by her presentation. And for over 2 decades, Joanne has been using success principles to enrich the lives and businesses of her clients. And she really cares for her clients in seminars, coaching sessions, and training. And she uses her very special talents so that she can really focus and work individually on each person and organization. She integrates Eastern and Western medicine principles to facilitate balance, success, and wellness. Joanne, I'm so really thrilled to be interviewing you, and I'm sure that, tonight we will really give important tips and advice that will empower our audience.
Well, again, Paula, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I love you, and you inspire so many women. So I'm glad to be here and glad to help.
Thank you, Joanne. You are an entrepreneur, and you run a very successful business. What can you describe as the biggest challenge that you had to face in setting up your business?
Well, I think there were several challenges, Paula, and one of them was impatience. Because I think that we have to learn to evolve in certain areas. And also, when I really ventured out from corporate and I moved into my own business and private practice and also as the entrepreneur, I did not really have a very strong business plan. I just thought, okay, I've arrived. I was doing seminars and I was coaching people, and I thought, well, that's what you do, and there you go. Well, I was in for a rude awakening, Paula, because I didn't know at that point. I was in my 20s. I didn't know about promoting and marketing and advertising, and those are the things that I really had to learn along the way. So I guess what I need to tell the women, especially who are listening and who are wanting to be entrepreneurs and ready to step out, is kind of develop a business plan and allow yourself. I'm working with somebody now who is doing wonderful stuff, but she says, oh, it's only been a few months, and where is it? And I said, well, patience is really very important, because you need to take a look at your successes and watch your business grow and evolve, but it doesn't always happen. Those wonderful success stories, Paula, that everything happens overnight, but it doesn't. It's a steady pace, and you really have to be diligent about what you're doing and take the necessary steps towards success.
So you said that one of the biggest challenges was the lack of patience. and the other one was, the lack of a business plan. What did you do to overcome these two challenges?
Good question. Well, firstly, I've developed more patience.
Yeah, and what did you do to develop more patience?
I had to look at where I had come, where I had been, and I think that's important because we forget that those little steps really are very important towards our goal, and it's the process. And I'm now a very process-oriented person. And I used to work with children with emotional challenges, and I learned that the little steps, the fact that you're working with a child who may initially have difficulty tying his or her shoe, or may have difficulty in speaking and responding. So the little steps, the fact that a child could hold the shoe or tie a lace or move towards that actual end result, which is maybe the whole actual tying the shoe or saying a whole sentence. All of that, those little steps are important to acknowledge. So you need to acknowledge those steps and also to reward yourself, because you have to, again, see the journey and see the point from A to B and not be discouraged when you're only midway through it and you're not necessarily at that goal yet. I think being a process-oriented person is really very important in business and something that we can all learn.
Yeah, and celebrate the results, even the smallest.
Yes, celebrate celebrate those small steps. So often I say to myself, "Good job," and I give myself that positive feedback, because I think that you need to be your own best cheerleader. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have other cheerleaders, but you have to be that. And oftentimes, and this is part of what women do a lot more than men, but men do it too, is that we railroad ourselves by demeaning or denigrating what we're doing. We second guess ourselves a lot. We create more doubt, and that can actually impinge our success. So rather than going that route, because you don't need to, you can learn from your mistakes, but also look at the wonderful steps and the wonderful places that you're going and that things that you're doing, and acknowledge them as you and I are talking, and make sure that you might even want to write them down. And so when you're feeling a moment of discouragement, and that does, who doesn't have that in a business? Look at those. Look at where you've been, and look at the exciting things that you may have done or the points that you feel proud of, and acknowledge that. And don't give up.
Yeah. That's so important. Don't give up when, the obstacles first start to appear, because they inevitably appear. Obstacles and challenges.
They do.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
And I think it's so important. I'm writing a chapter now in a book called Unwavering Strength, and I'm writing a chapter about perseverance. And I think that that's been something that I've had to learn. And I think perseverance is really what gets us through. Because if you look at history, and to write the chapter, Paula, I've been studying famous people in history who had, like you said, all those obstacles, and yet if they didn't persevere, take that one next step towards their success, they might have missed it. And there are so many stories like that. Alexander Bell and the person with Kentucky Fried Chicken, and all the stories about people not giving up and then eventually reaching that pivotal success, that pinnacle of success.
Yeah. Walt Disney was another one.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So don't give up no matter what. I think this is an important message. Joanne, you empower women with your programs and services. What are the major obstacles, both internal and external, that a woman has to face when she's starting out a new business or career, and especially an older woman?
Well, firstly, in terms of age, okay, because that's an obstacle that a lot of women are facing. I'm too old. Yeah, I'm in TV, and initially before I got into TV, it was, oh no, I mean, maybe I'm too old for TV. So you have to get past that stuff, because that's the doubt. That's the way that we, again, as I said earlier, that's the way that we kind of put ourselves down and we judge ourselves. And judgment is so harsh oftentimes that it really gets in the way of our moving forward. So when, I mean, you were there when I did the seminar on creative aging. And to really, sometimes I also study people in history. I also say to women, have an older mentor. I had a woman who years ago, she's deceased right now, but she was in her 80s, and she used to work with people, young people in their 20s and in their 30s, and she was this incredibly brilliant role model for us. And it was wonderful to see her in action, and she taught us so much. So I think that that's important, because it's about, wow, look at what this person did, and look at how we could do that too. One of the reasons that I actually went for my PhD was I was going for my master's, and there was an instructor, Dr. Nettie Bartel, who used to really inspire creative women that were in the class, young women. And I thought, wow, I want to be like her. Not that I'm doing what she was doing, although I did teach at the same university as an adjunct, but it was just the way that she really got very involved. And you and I were talking about passion, and passionate about what she was doing, and made you think and really got your creative juices flowing. I thought, I want to do that. So I went on for my doctorate, just
Yeah.
because there was that inspiration. So I think mentoring is incredible, not only getting mentored, but being a mentor for younger people. I think that's the best.
You know, you reminded me, you know that I've been an interpreter for 25 years. And when I started, my mentor was a woman that at that time was already in her 70s, and she's been working until she was, I think, 85 and 86. And only because she was sick, she stopped.
Right.
And, you know, she was so full of energy. And one thing she said, you know, you are young. I was just starting out, and like me, there were many other interpreters. And I'm learning so much from you, even if you have less experience. There is always something that I don't know and that I can learn from you. So this is a very important message. No matter what your age is, you never stop learning. And
I
you can always have something else to learn.
I think that if we stop learning, we stop living a little bit too, because I'm a proponent of lifelong learning, and there are so many opportunities. I was doing some
Yeah.
research for my PowerPoints for the Power Your Life TV show, and I learned something very wonderful about the brain and the neurotransmitter dopamine. And I just did a PowerPoint on it today, which actually stimulates when we do something. It's called the success gene, or it's not really a gene, but it's a part of the neurotransmitters. When we do something that actually completing a task or doing something that's successful, it activates that good feeling within us. So we have that built-in feeling for success, and if we're moving towards our goals, we're feeling good about the journey, that process that we were talking about, it activates that feel-good dopamine within our brain, and that's fantastic. So lifelong learning is, I didn't know that. I mean, I sort of knew that, but I didn't really know the particulars of it, and I was like, wow. So discovery from other people, or from experience, or from whatever kind of learning you're doing is really vital.
Oh, yeah. Joanne, you said, you were rightly saying that, you know, especially more mature women may feel, you know, blocked or stopped in their, desire to create a new business or start a new career because they feel they are too old. What, in your opinion, are instead the characteristics of a more mature woman that are particularly helpful when she wants to start a new venture or a new career at an older age?
Well, often we're done with the looks. So we're not. So, and I actually interviewed several women asking them that question years ago, and many women say that they love getting older because they do become less critical, and they do feel more connected to their work, and they're looking, and they're feeling pleased about what they're doing. They're at the place where, I guess, experience, you've learned not to just get derailed by something little, and to really recognize that, again, that it's a journey, and older women have been seen that journey, and again, being able to trace where they've come, and it's very rewarding, and so I think you need to take care that you're paying attention to that. At the same time, I think that we're able to have a level of discernment that we don't necessarily have when we're young, and that's to our credit, and it can also help you when you're starting out in business and when you're an entrepreneur to kind of recognize what works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what isn't going right, and to perhaps even reroute yourself and shift. Oftentimes when you're going in a specific direction, Paula, maybe you need to take stock of, well, is this the right move, and rather than be devastated, make little changes along the way to make it better, or to shift, or to kind of integrate something else within your business model, your business plan, that can lead more to success.
Yeah, yeah. Before I ask you the next question, Joanne, I just want to tell our audience that if they have any questions for you, they can either enter them in the chat, in the comments below the video, or they can send an email to info@projectprosperity.com, so that at the end of this interview, we'll be asking some of the questions. We'll see how much time left we will have at the end. So if you had to advise a woman in her 50s who's trying to reinvent herself and start her new business, what would you suggest to her in particular? A couple of pieces of advice.
I think firstly you need to take a look, if you're starting a new business, where's your passion? You and I talked about that earlier, and that to me is key, because where your passion lies is what you're going to do, is where your energy is going to come from. But it's not just about passion, it's also what skills do you need to learn. If you're entering a new field or a new arena, are there skills? Is there a learning that needs to be done? You and I know that I'm embarking on a new business venture, and there's always a learning curve. And initially it was like, oh, this learning curve. And the same way when I do radio and TV, there was a learning curve for that. And you can let that fear overtake you and not move forward, or you can decide, which I finally do with each one of my new projects, is that, okay, there's a learning curve, and I feel kind of like new at it, and like a newborn in this situation, a newbie, but I can get skilled in this process. I can learn and I can master it. And I think as humans, as women, we have the ability to learn, to adapt, to adjust, and then to be able to really shine. So if there's learning, and there's always learning, we talked about lifelong learning, learn it. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid of it. Learn it, embrace it, master it, and then it's yours. And then make it your own, too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Joanne, when I speak with my clients, and they have either already have their own business or they're starting the new business, they see as a big challenge the marketing and promotion part. You know that I believe that personal branding is very important today, especially now that we are so public, everybody is so public. And personal branding is also a way to get to know yourself better and be more focused on what you do. What do you do for your personal brand, for your social media presence, and for promoting what you do?
Well, firstly, I have support.
Yeah.
Because we can't be the expert in everything, and so part of it is to recognize what your talents are, recognize what you do, and if you need to outsource or bring in the people in your organization, in your company, that can support you in the skills that you may not know as well, to actually help your business. I think it's also important to, when you're creating a brand, know what that is. I have a logo, and we're Power Your Life is what we've been branding for several years now. Power Your Life Radio, Power You Online University, Power Your Life Television, Power Your Life Broadcasting. So that's a brand, and it's representing, for me, it's representing what I think about in terms of empowering people, empowering women, and it's so important that we feel empowered to be able to move forward and to be able to lead successful lives and get involved in successful business ventures. So I think pay attention to what you're doing with branding. What's your message? What do you want people to know about you? What do you want it to look like? How do you want to shape it? And again, if you need some people, if you need a marketing person to help with that, get the tools, get the resources, get the personnel that you need to help you establish your brand, market you, so that you can take your brand and you out and again, shine.
John, I called my brand Project Prosperity, and project meaning a project to create prosperity, but also project meaning attracting prosperity in your life. Prosperity may mean different things for different people. So what does prosperity mean to you, and what is the #1 prosperity secret in your life?
Well, in a book that I co-authored, Mastering the Art of Success, with Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, one of the chapter that I wrote was just about that too, and so I think at the end of the day, prosperity is not what's in your wallet. It's not. I'm thinking of a commercial. It's what's in your wallet. It's not necessarily what's in your wallet. It's not necessarily what's in your bank account. Now, I'm not diminishing the importance and value of money, and I'm also an energy master's teacher, and to me, energy and money, money is just a form of energy. I think success is about being true to your values, being true to that inner truth. When you really kind of look inside your heart, look inside your soul, decide, what is it that's really valuable and meaningful to me? And know what that is. Know what that is when you're establishing a business. Know what that is when you're establishing a new relationship or when you're in relationships. That's key. That's critical to living. So if you're living your values, and if at the end of the day, Paula, you could say, wow, this day I was true to who I am and to my values, and that came out with respect to how I was dealing with people, to my integrity in my business, to how I was treating myself, to how I was treating the people that I care about. If I can, at the end of the day, really feel that I was in sync with that, I think that that's prosperity, that's success. And I think that that's important, because that makes us feel enriched, and that makes us feel filled and fulfilled and full. And money and riches are a part of that, but it's not everything.
So prosperity and success are synonyms to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Um, I believe that feeling fulfilled and happy about your life is about finding a balance between your physical, mental, and spiritual life. What do you do to find or keep this balance in your life?
I need to do more of that. Well, part of it is that my work, okay, and this is important, my work feels like fun. It doesn't mean that I don't do research. It doesn't mean that I don't plan, but I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. I feel that I'm on track with what I came here in this lifetime to do, and that's incredibly fulfilling. I love to dance, as you know. I also love to play. So balance to me is, and I'm not always doing this, balance to me is making sure that I'm leaving time out to do just that, to play, to express myself creatively. And I love to express myself creatively. To me, and many people will think, Paula, writing is drudgery. To me, writing is a form of play, a form of release. I've been writing since I was old enough to write stories and poetry, and so it's a form of play. And people would say, "What? That's crazy," but it's not. So I think balance also is, what does it mean to each person? Balance can be unique. Somebody could be working many, many hours and yet feel so fulfilled because that's where their passion, their joy, their pleasure is. In the TV show, the people that I'm surrounded with are, we play, we laugh, we share a lot. I feel like it's a little bit of a family there. And so I feel fulfilled there because of that process, because of what we've created together, and that's very important.
Oh, yeah. Joanne, you are very creative. You have many projects, always new ventures. I've heard that there is a new business venture for you. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, there are actually two. The power, and here's something very important. I was talking about patience, Paula, because the Power Your Life broadcasting network, that venture was supposed to take off like about a month and a half ago. There have been delays with it getting it started, and I had to really embrace that, and it's moving along. We actually have a new web designer whom I trust and who's going to be doing incredible work. And so I had to be able to sort of surrender. You were talking about the spiritual angle to it. Well, sometimes, and I was talking about impatience and patience, sometimes we have to take a deep breath and just allow whatever venture we're doing, to allow it to go with the flow. So initially it was like, it's got to be done, it's got to be done. And now it's like, okay, you know what? Let's just, it's happening. Perhaps it'll be launched within 2 or 3 weeks, and I wanted it to be launched about a month ago. However, I have to make peace with that. So the Power Your Life Network and the Power You Online University, those are projects that are happening, and I will let everybody know exactly when they're launched and ready to have wonderful contributors like yourself to participate in them, because I think it will be a wonderful cooperative and collaborative venture, and you know that that's what I'm all about. The other venture is more of a business venture that I'm partnering with these incredible business people, and that's in the works. It's not quite finalized yet, and that's going to be doing more with e-marketing. And I don't have enough information to tell you about that, but I will. And I'm very excited about that. And there's a big learning curve there. So, and that's going to be fun. It's a little bit challenging, and I think that that's another thing that we need to tell women, no matter what their age is, Paula, is that don't be afraid of the challenges, because like you said, there are always going to be challenges. There are always going to be things that happen. Embrace the challenges. Get ready for them. Like wanting this network to be online when and embrace the delay and recognize that the challenges. See, I always think that spirit does whatever spirit is doing for a reason. So if spirit is delaying it, maybe it's so that all the pieces of the puzzle are going to fit beautifully together like a tapestry or like a symphony. And I had to let go of that impatience piece, and I'm always reminded of that. Did you go away?
Here you are.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah, there was something with the line, I think. Well,
Okay.
I believe that I will have to interview again as soon as these projects are ready, and I'm sure that there will be many people interested in hear more about them both.
Well, thank you, because again,
Yeah.
I think it's a venture that, yes, I have my own business, and yes, I'm obviously here to put my business out in many ways. However, like I said, I think we're here. It's not about competition. It's more about collaboration, and we see that more and more with people joining together, even with social networking. And so that process is incredibly important. And that's one of my very positive, strong goals for the Power U University and for the Broadcasting Network, is to be able to bring other people, both women and men, to showcase their products, their talent, their services, their programs, their shows, whatever it is, to be able to be on the network and share their gifts with others so that we can all learn, and with the world. And that's what I'm about. I think that's part of why I'm here on this earth today, is to help kind of facilitate that and engineer that. And I don't know that that's something that we always learn. You used to think about, well, are you as good as your competition, or what are you going to do to me? And I don't think that's the way of the world right now. And I don't think it's a way for success. We were talking about prosperity. I don't think that's what's going to get the success that we need.
Yeah.
And you
I
know,
totally agree with you, Joanne.
good, because yeah, you and I, that's what we're doing
Yeah.
here, and you're going to be on my radio show. Hello. So that's important. That was an invitation, Paula, so you're supposed to say yes.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, I heard. Yeah.
Now you're going to hold me
Thank
to
you,
it.
Joanne. We'll be very honored to be on your radio show.
It's my pleasure.
Really, yeah.
Pick a date in the near future, which will be very wonderful.
Yeah.
I think, too, when I
Yeah.
wrote that chapter in that book, Mastering the Art of Success, I took a look at a lot of companies, and companies that were looking at collaboration and looking at, well, how do you help other businesses move forward to success? So many companies are working to build nonprofits, or working to raise money for very specific causes. And I think that it's important for us as consumers, not only as business women, but as consumers, to pay attention to those companies that are giving back and that are making a difference in the world and for other people, because I think that that's the wave, and that's the wave of the present, and that's the wave of the future. And I think that's how we're going to build successes all over the globe.
Yes, yes, I agree. And there are so many examples also of social enterprises, these big projects aimed at empowering people so that they can create something new, better for their country, the area of the world where they live, rather than simply giving money. And they probably, in many areas of the world, they don't even know what to do with that money. While if you empower them, you teach them, and you help them, create something that will serve their country, their city, their people, this is true value, and this is really a way to make a difference in the world.
I agree, and you raised something really very important, Paula, and that is money. Again, if you're needing to go into certain countries or wherever where you're seeing some areas that need to grow and change, money may not be the answer. Rather, education, work side by side with people, teaching them, empowering them, training them to be able to be self-sufficient, to be able to be entrepreneurs themselves. That's empowerment, and that's utilizing the resources, and that's so that not only their business can thrive, but then they in turn will be teaching other people, who in turn will be teaching other people, and that to me is how you build prosperity and how you build success, and real success, because it doesn't stop there. It's a continuation, and it becomes firstly intergenerational, but you're also building and helping and supporting the generations to come.
Yes, yes. John, there is a question from Christine, and she's asking, she's curious about creative aging. You mentioned creative aging while we were speaking, and she's curious to know more about this. What is it? What does that mean? How do you age creatively?
Hi, Christine. How are you? Thanks for the question. Well, creative aging is firstly get rid of those beliefs that you're too old to do something, and those beliefs that you have. We all have beliefs about aging, that we have to retire at a certain age, and that we're not good, and that our brains don't work, and that physical. So what are those ageisms that you have, you meaning all of us, have about ourselves? And look at those aging, look at those ageisms, because they're not necessarily true, and decide that you don't have to be that way. So part of it is recognizing that you can be creative up to, I mean, again, when I created this, even this seminar, and I wrote the chapter Creative Aging in a book, I did some research, and I found women, not only women, but men who who maybe retired from one field or one area and then took on something else and was able to do something beautiful. There was one woman who took on an acting career, I can't remember the name, when she was in her 80s. There was another woman who lived on her own in her own house and was very grateful and was driving a car, and she was over 102 years old. And so I think that, again, what are our views about aging, and what does it mean for you to age creatively? For me, it's about stimulating your mind and your body, and there's been so much research about even a little bit of exercise can euthanize you. And I don't mean youth in terms of putting you to sleep. I mean to make yourself be more youthful and vibrant. And what are you doing in your life, or what are we doing in our lives that create that vibrancy? And you and I talked about passion. Well, if I'm going to retire and I'm just going to sit in front of a TV and be bored and think, okay, this is the end of the line, well, then my view of getting older is really very, very crushed and very small. If I think of aging as a process, what could I do to help other people? What can I do with my experience, with what I've learned, to share with others and to help others grow? That's a totally different outlook. So I think outlook is key to creative aging, and then find the areas in your life, and maybe those dreams that you temporarily put aside, and take a look at them, or let those dreams resurface, or choose new dreams so that you can feel that you're being creative. A colleague of mine, and he was a close friend, and he's now deceased, Paula, and one day he and I were having a phone conversation, and he said, I don't have any more dreams. I was kind of really quiet, and I thought to myself, I didn't say anything, I thought to myself, how could you not have any dreams, even if it's a small dream about hugging a grandchild, or whatever it is? How could you not have that? And I didn't say anything, but it made me think. And about a month later, he died. And I thought to myself, well, when we don't have dreams, and they don't have to be these grandiose dreams, I'm going to be rich and famous. They can be small dreams that give you that sense of success, that sense of satisfaction, that personal reward. When you have those dreams, you're keeping those dreams alive. I think that's also part of creative aging. I hope I answered your question. And there's so much more to it. That's
Oh,
just the tip
yeah.
of the iceberg.
Yes, yes. There's another question from Lisa, and she says, you said that money is energy. How can money be energy?
Well, firstly, if you take a look at quantum physics right now, everything is energy. So even the fact that we're communicating, our words are energy. What we're telling ourselves is energy. And what it means is that money, it's not, if we have an attachment to money in terms of dollars and cents, we're not recognizing that the way that we can bring in money into our lives, and that's something that I've had to learn, is by seeing it as part of even our bodies are energy. Even how like I was saying, everything is energy. And I'm not a scientist, but yet I've studied a lot of quantum physics. And basically, how you attract money is by looking at money as your friend, looking at money as something that, again, is something that you can bring into your life. I'm oversimplifying it, of course, but again, to recognize that how you see something and what you're putting out. I was listening to someone yesterday on a call, and we were talking about, what are we putting out into the universe? What are we telling ourselves? What are we telling the universe about what we're doing, about where we're going? Though our inner minds hear all that, and that's the energy, that's the belief system, if you will, that we're putting out into the world, and that either creates or discreates what our intentionality is. So that, again, that's an oversimplification, but I think it's important to recognize that money, is a piece of paper. It's not that's not what's behind it that gives it value. What gives it value is really how you see it and how you participate in it too.
Yeah. There is a question from Brigitte, and she says, I've always thought I wanted to start my own business. I've never worked. I've been a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to start my own business. And I was thinking to go back to school. What is your suggestion for a person who's never worked before?
I think, bravo, if you want to go back to school. I think we've been talking about lifelong learning, Paula, and you can educate yourself and learn. And again, it's what you want to do. Does the business that you want to start, does it involve education? Does it need very specialized training? Because you will need training if you're entering something where you don't have knowledge. There have been entrepreneurs at the same time who were able to start businesses without the training and got the support. So it's what you want to do and what you feel is going to support you on your journey towards your entrepreneurship, and what skills you think you need, and what kind of training, what kind of education, what kind of school. Is it a vocational school? Is it, again, I would investigate too. If you're going back to school, oftentimes I say to my clients, if you're going back to school or back to training, and I'm doing that with somebody right now, ask them what they're going to do for their graduates. If it's a technical school, or do they help with placement? If it's a college or a community college, do they help place people? Do they know what are the jobs look like in that area? You need to be able to do some research to be knowledgeable about, firstly, even your education and the direction that you're moving in.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I hope we're answering these questions. I'm putting some ideas out.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm receiving these questions by email, so I cannot see the interaction
Okay.
with the people who've asked them. But yes, I believe that, you know, your answers are really complete, satisfactory, and I'm sure that they are happy. And in any case, Joanne, I want to say to the people who are watching us that there is a page on my website, projectprosperity.com/thank you, where I have put all your contact details, your email and your website. So if people have more questions and they want to get in touch with you, they can do so directly.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because again,
Yeah,
we only have a limited amount of time, and these questions may
of course.
involve more, more thought and more exchange and interchange to make sure that people are really getting the
Yeah.
answers that they need.
Not only, you know, there are people also for, you know, due to time difference, they don't watch us live, but they watch the videos, the recording later, and they may want to ask questions to you, so they can do that
I appreciate
directly. Mhm.
Thank you. And also, if there are women entrepreneurs out there that I haven't met who may be interested in pursuing the Power U Online University and the online
Yeah.
marketing venture that I'm talking about, or even the broadcasting, contact me because these are going to happen very, very soon. And again, we're looking for collaboration and to support people and to help them move forward. So I'd love to hear people who are more interested and want to learn more and want to participate.
Yeah, so that's beautiful, Joanne. I mean, I really believe in collaboration. Each and every one of us has unique talents, and with all, you know, these individual uniquenesses, if I can say this, we can make, you know, a huge impact. We can help so many people, and that's really beautiful. These are really beautiful projects, the ones that you are creating and
Thank
offering to the world.
Thank you. I think people also need to know, and as you were talking, Paula, this just popped into my head. I think people need to recognize that each and every one of us is incredibly unique, and therefore we do have something very, very individual, very special to offer, and to honor that within ourselves, within yourself, so that you recognize what that is. And I think it's important, no matter what age you are, to recognize that you do have gifts, you do have resources that even though it may seem like somebody else has the same, they're not the same. And
It's
to
true.
tout your horn a little bit. Don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to put those talents and that out in the world, because you'd be surprised how many other people are seeking that, or how many other people you're inspiring by doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Joanne, thank you so much. I would stay here for ages speaking with you, but I know that you have, you know, other appointments and you cannot stay with me for, you know, hours. But I would love to do that, you know. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank Paula, thank you so much. And if people want to get a hold of me, they can go to Joanne at docwhite.org, or go to my website, not the new website that's still under development, and I'll give you that information. But go to Dr. Joanne White or docwhite.org, drjoannewhite.com, and I'm always here to inspire, to learn. And Paula, you are a gift. You are incredibly special with
Yeah,
what you're doing. I am so honored to be here and honored to be your friend and your colleague,
yeah.
and we support one another so beautifully. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for having me as a guest today, tonight, yesterday, whatever time zone you're in tomorrow.
Yeah, Jen, thank you very much. I'm so happy that our paths crossed.
Me too.
Really. Yes, you've been a gift to my life.
And you're a gift to mine. Lots of love, Paula. Many
Lots
blessings
of love to you.
and many
And we'll
blessings
speak very soon.
to the audience. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.